wake up.
When you're doing serious research, good help is hard to find. But I need good help. You see, we've turned fragments of history from the aether into solid places. My crew calls them fractals. They exhibit some unpredictable behavior. We've sent teams in before, but they don't always come out. Maybe you can be of service. Simply enter the fractals and make them safe enough for us to do our research. It's unclear precisely what you'll face. Perhaps a few anomalies, but nothing of concern. The work may not be easy, but like my mentor always said, never waste a golem when you can use a volunteer. Especially when it's mutually beneficial. If you make it back in one piece, you get to keep what you find, and my crew gets knowledge. But I'm not worried. I know you can handle it.
Hello everybody, Elquin here. Today I'm going over Fractals of the Mist to give new Fractal runners an idea of what's going on and how to get started. First off, directly from the wiki, Fractals of the Mist are dungeons that consist of an array of mini dungeons called Fractals. Each Fractal has its own story and environment. Characters are adjusted to level 80 within the dungeon. Fractals are one of the primary sources of ascended equipment, and since the latest round of patches have become a very lucrative way to earn gold. On top of the loot that you'll be getting from the mobs in the Fractals and also the reward chests that you'll be picking up, you'll also have the chance to do daily reward achievements. Daily achievements include Daily Adept, and that's the completion of 3 different scale 1 through 20 Fractals. There's also Daily Veteran, which is the completion of 3 different 21 through 50 Fractals, and Daily Champion, which is the completion of 3 51 through 100 Fractals. And there's also 2 daily recommendations, and these usually fall within Fractal Adept and Fractal Veteran. And you can see that, I'll show it on the screen here. Right, and aside from those achievements, you also have Daily Champion, and this is sometimes replaced with another recommended Fractal, but this happens pretty rarely. Okay, so we'll get started. First, you want to approach the Fractal Gate, which is located in the Mist Portal Point of Interest in Fort Mariner. And when you approach the gate, a window will pop up. You'll be given the option to find more party members, and you'll also be given the option to set the difficulty scale. You can set the scale up to the highest personal Fractal level of anyone in the party, and also your personal reward level increases by 1 level each time you complete a Fractal equal to or greater than your own personal level. Your personal Fractal level offers increased rewards, even if the Fractal you're running is at a lower difficulty. Higher Fractal levels offer greater challenges and higher chances of better rewards from foes, chests, and bonus chests. The higher the Fractal level, the more standard foes you'll encounter. Foes will have higher health, armor, and damage values, and some of the foes will gain new abilities. Each Fractal level corresponds to a specific Fractal dungeon, so you are able to decide which Fractals you would like to run. And this list that I'm showing on the screen really makes it pretty easy to decide which one you're running, because all the Fractals will correspond to a specific level. Okay, so now you know which level you'll be running, and you've entered into the Mistlock Observatory. The Mistlock Observatory serves as a hub for all Fractals. You can repair, vendor, upgrade agony infusions, and learn more from the NPCs in this instance. At Fractal level 20, you will encounter your first wave of agony. Agony is an effect only encountered in Fractals, and it removes a percentage of the player's health every second and reduces healing received by 50% per stack. Condition removal does not affect agony, but you can counter agony by using infusions with agony resistance. For this guide, we're going to assume you don't have any ascended gear whatsoever. For the first 1 through 19 Fractals, you'll be fine without any agony resistance. There are 4 types of items that can be upgraded with agony resistance, and we'll look at each type. The first are Ascended Trinkets, which include rings, accessories, and amulets. Ascended Trinkets are unique, which means you cannot equip 2 identical trinkets at the same time. This does not limit your attribute selection, since Ascended Trinkets have multiple pieces with the same attributes. And I'll show an example of that on the screen here right now. You can see the Crystalline Band and the Ring of Red Death both have Berserker attributes, so you can equip both of those at the same time. But I would not be able to wear 2 Rings of Red Death at the same time. Okay, how do you obtain these trinkets now? Well, first you have your amulets. Amulets can be purchased from a laurel merchant for 30 laurels each, or from a World vs. World laurel merchant for 20 laurels and 250 badges of honor. There are also other ways to obtain specific amulets, such as achievements, vendors, and Mystic Forge recipes, but to keep with the simplicity of this guide, we won't be going over those methods. Okay, next on the list, you have your Ascended Rings. Ascended Rings can be purchased from the merchant by 4373 in the Mistlock Observatory for 10 pristine fractal relics. And they can also be purchased from a laurel merchant for 35 laurels, or a World vs. World laurel merchant for 25 laurels and 250 badges of honor. Rings also drop randomly from daily reward chests when completing a boss fractal at difficulty level 11 or higher, and they also have a chance to drop from World vs. World rank chests and PvP reward track boxes. You also have a chance to receive infuse rings from daily reward chests in boss fractals level 21 or higher. There are also a few achievements that will reward you with Ascended Rings as well. Moving on, last on the list of trinkets are your accessories. Ascended accessories can be purchased from a laurel merchant for 40 laurels and 50 globs of ectoplasm, or from a guild commendation trader for 5 gold and 12 guild commendations. You can also acquire accessories from weekly guild mission chests or specific achievements. Okay, moving on from trinkets, we'll next be taking a look at Ascended weapons and armor. Both Ascended weapons and armor can be acquired by crafting or from an Ascended chest. Crafting Ascended weapons and armor requires a 500 crafting level in the related discipline and the crafting of time-gated refinement materials. And this takes a minimum of 24 days to craft an entire set of Ascended armor because of this, but can be shortened if you buy Ascended crafting material from the trading post. Another way of obtaining Ascended armor and weapons is through Ascended chests, and these chests can have a chance of dropping from Fractals, Tequatl, exotic champion loot bags, reward chests from guild missions, and World vs. World rank up chests. In order for you to receive an armor piece or weapon with their attributes of your choice, you can combine them in the Mystic Forge with an attribute change recipe. And for the armor, this recipe requires the piece of Ascended armor that you wish to change the attributes of, 1 Anthology of Heroes, and this can be purchased from Mayani or a Mystic Forge attendant, and then 5 globs of ectoplasm, and an intricate gossamer insignia with the attribute prefix that you desire. Now for weapons, the recipe is the Ascended weapon that you wish to change the attributes of, an Anthology of Heroes, 5 globs of ectoplasm, and 5 Orichalcum imbued inscriptions with the attribute prefix that you desire. Okay, last but not least, you have your Ascended back item. Ascended back items can be acquired by crafting them in the Mystic Forge, crafting from the related recipe sheet, or through collection achievements. An example of a crafted Ascended back item is There with Yakington, a Traveler's Tale, which can be crafted in the Mystic Forge by combining 1 vial of condensed mist essence, 40 mystic crystals from Mayani or a Mystic Forge attendant, 50 globs of ectoplasm, and 250 vicious claws. That does it for Ascended equipment, but one last note, you can infuse and attune both your rings and your back items. Infusing a piece of equipment adds 1 additional agony infusion slot, and attuning your equipment adds 2 additional agony infusion slots instead of just the 1. Infusing and attuning your equipment destroys any upgrades in the original pieces, so it's advised you do it all in one go, or use an infusion extraction device to remove any upgrades. To attune equipment, you must first infuse the ring or back piece. To infuse a ring, combine the Ascended ring with 1 shard of crystallized mist essence, 3 globs of coagulated mist essence, and 5 vials of condensed mist essence. Now to infuse a back piece, combine the back item and 1 glob of coagulated mist essence, 1 gift of ascension, and 250 globs of ectoplasm. Now to take your rings a step further and add 1 additional agony infusion slot, you can attune them. To attune your ring, combine the Ascended ring, 1 agonized essence, 1 + 1 agony infusion, and 1 philosopher's stone. Okay, now at this point, you should have all or most of your ascended gear and accessories, but you still have 0 agony resistance. There are 5 types of infusions, and these include offensive, defensive, utility, versatile, and crafted agony infusions. And again, to keep this guide simple, we're focusing on the versatile infusions and crafted infusions. Now you'll want to focus on one piece of ascended equipment at a time to ensure you purchase or craft the correct type of infusions. To obtain a versatile simple infusion, visit buy 4373 in the Mistlock Observatory and purchase the versatile simple infusion for 75 fractal relics and 64 copper. And now it's recommended that you upgrade your simple infusion to a masterwork versatile simple infusion with a +7 agony resistance by visiting the Dessa's Crew Merchant and paying 1 versatile simple infusion +5 and 75 fractal relics. In order for you to be able to visit this merchant, you need to have the Fractal Attunement Mastery unlocked, which is follows advice. Now the other type of infusion is the crafted agony infusion. And this is +1 agony infusions dropped from Fractals of the Mist reward chests and from salvaging ascended equipment with an ascended salvage kit. Once you have your stacks of +1 agony infusions, you can upgrade them through artificing if you have 100 artificing or from Dessa's Crew Merchant in the Mistlock Observatory. And remember, you need the Fractal Attunement Mastery unlocked, which is follows advice. And a good thing about using this method right through Dessa's Crew Merchant, you'll save money in the long run by purchasing less thermocatalytic reagents. Alright, so now you have an idea of how to craft or upgrade your agony infusions, so what do you do with them now? Well, for your ascended armor and weapons, they both use versatile simple infusions. Your back item and rings use versatile simple infusions and crafted agony infusions. And your amulets and accessories use versatile simple infusions. Now, since you're just getting started out, it is not expected that you max out your agony resistance, but using the reference that I'll show on the screen right now, you can have an idea of how much agony resistance you'll want before attempting each fractal level. Okay, we've gone over ascended gear and infusions, and you should now have a basic understanding of what you need in order to begin your fractal journey. That concludes this guide. If you'd like to have a more in-depth look at each fractal, please stay tuned for my future series of fractal guides. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Elquin, and that concludes another episode of Stonewall Gaming.